Hey everybody, this is Nate here, and today I'll be doing my review of HTC's brand new flagship smartphone for the year 2013. This is the HTC One. This is here in the United States, so it's working with AT&T's LTE network, and it is in the silver color. There also is a black color that should be coming here very, very soon. May go on sale as early as next week. And then this phone has 32 gigabytes of internal storage. AT&T also offers a 64 gigabyte model that you can purchase online only. So with that being said, let me go ahead and start the review. I want to talk about the design of this phone first. So if you guys watched my unboxing of this phone, I really talked about how much I love the design here. It's got an all aluminum enclosure, which I think feels great in the hand, and it also looks awesome as well. From the side, you can kind of see it's got a sort of slanted profile there, and that fits very, very comfortably in the hand. I really like to hold this phone. It feels great. I've been using this phone for about a week, and I think a lot of people came up to me and asked me what phone I was using. I think the reason for that is, there's a lot of people out there who use the iPhone, and that's an easily distinguishable phone out there. And there's a lot of people with like S3s and a lot of other plasticky Android devices. And this is a phone that is an Android phone, but it is not made of plastic. And I think it really stands out in that aspect. And I think that's what's going to separate this phone from all those other Android phones that you can buy right now. And I'm hoping that that will help HTC make a comeback this year, because they have been struggling in years past. So I really can't say enough about this phone. I think it just looks great, feels great, one of the best designed phones I have ever used. Next then, I wanted to talk about some of the other design elements. On the top, you've got the sleep wake button, and that also doubles as an IR blaster, so you can use this to control your TV. There's an application built right in here. You just select your TV manufacturer, your box manufacturer. You can get it set up really, really easily, and it works well. So I'm glad that HTC included that in here. Another thing I wanted to talk about then are the speakers here. So these are what HTC is calling their boom sound speakers. They're a stereo setup, and they sound really, really good. For a smartphone, I mean, they sound loud. The quality is great. They're not state of the art or anything like that, but compared to all the other smartphones out there, these are top notch. I also like the placement of these speakers. On a lot of other smartphones, they're either placed on the back of the device or the bottom, and to me, that's kind of stupid, because if the speakers are located on the bottom and you set the phone down, that's going to distort some of the audio quality. Or even if you're holding it in your hand's going to block out some of the volume as well. Same thing with the iPhone, where you've got the speakers located on the bottom. If I'm holding the phone in landscape mode, watching a video or playing a game, my hand's going to block out some of that volume too. So I like the placement here, and the quality is very, very good. So I love these HTC boom sound speakers. So that's what I wanted to talk about there. And then with the display here is also very, very good. It's got a 1080p resolution on a 4.7-inch screen. So this phone has one of the highest pixel densities, or the highest pixel density out there right now, which is great. The screen looks sharp, text and everything looks crisp. Colors look really great as well. You will be very, very pleased with the display on this phone if you choose to purchase it. So I think HTC's really hit it out the park here with design. They've got a great aluminum body here that looks great, feels great, great speakers incorporated on this phone, and an awesome display. Next, I wanted to talk about the software on this phone. So this is running Android 4.1, so not quite the latest version. There is Android 4.2.2 out. According to rumors, HTC could be pushing out an update for this phone as soon as next month, up to 4.2. So we'll have to wait and see on that. But I wanted to talk about some of the included features that HTC has here. The first one is HTC Blink Feed. So Blink Feed is kind of like Flipboard for a home screen on your device. And basically what it does is pull in news from different web sources. Right now I've got news coming in from ESPN, The Verge, and Engadget. And you've got a picture and the title of the article. And if you're interested, you can go ahead and select one, and it'll go ahead and bring up that news article that you can go ahead and read. And it's kind of cool. It doesn't actually bring it into a web browser. It's kind of part of the HTC Sense software itself, which is cool. I don't know how many people are going to actually want to use this. Personally, it's not something I use that much, but I think it's nice that HTC recognizes that a lot of people use their phone. After they haven't used their phone for a while, they're immediately checking notifications on like Twitter or Facebook, or what news articles there are out there. So you can also incorporate your social media here. So you can bring up any notifications that you have, and you can see here, you can flip through and just see these different news articles. So I think it integrates very nicely, it works well, and if you don't like it, what you can do is just move it off to the side. So this isn't currently my home screen. If I wanted to set it as my home screen, I could. There's no way to actually remove the software itself. Of course, you could do that if you did root your phone or if you install a third-party launcher. That's another way to get rid of it. But personally, I don't think it's that bad. I don't think it's really draining my battery or anything. It's just something I set off to the side, and if I find I want to use it, I can quickly set it as my home panel. You've also got the clock here, the time, the date as well. So I think that's a nice widget that they've put up there. You'll also find this widget in the app drawer. You'll see there at the top. And here's the app drawer itself. It scrolls vertically. The next thing I want to show you guys are the recent apps that you have open. So I really love the look of this. It shows the 9 most recent apps that you had open and gives you a full screen view of them. So the next software feature I wanted to talk about is the keyboard on this phone. I found it to be fantastic. It probably allows me to type the fastest of any Android smartphone I've used out there, and it's got some great auto correction software on here as well to fix any errors that I might have. So let me go ahead and just demo that for you. The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. So you can see here, works very, very well. And then there's also some swipe integration, so you can just swipe your fingers across here to type anything that you want. So really good keyboard on this phone. The next thing I want to talk about is the notification menu. So there are no quick settings available here by default. This is a third-party app that I installed, so I'm hoping HTC will include that in a future update. I also just wanted to give you guys a quick look here at the settings application. So here's what this looks like. I think it's very well organized. It's very easy to navigate through. I haven't personally used Sense or another HTC smartphone before, so I'm not sure how this compares to other versions of Sense, but I will say my experience with Sense 5.0 has been very, very positive. I don't find it to be overwhelming, and I find it very, very easy to navigate. So next I'll talk about the performance of the HTC One, and this smartphone is powered by a Snapdragon 600 quad-core processor that's clocked in at 1.7 gigahertz, and that's supplemented by 2 gigabytes of RAM. So that results in some really, really great performance here. Everything is smooth, games run very well. Just general every day-to-day tasks, you aren't going to notice lag in what you're doing. Apps really don't crash or anything, so it's overall really great performance here for this Android device, and it's what you would expect from a high-end Android smartphone. That being said, I'm not going to do a benchmark test here in this video. There are definitely benchmarks out there online if you want to view them. Basically, this phone's right up there with the GS4. The GS4 might beat it in some tests. This might beat it in some. This might be the GS4 in other tests. And I think at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. As a consumer or an everyday user, you're not going to be able to tell the difference between performance. Just know that this phone is right up there with all the other high-end smartphones and brings the performance that you're really looking for in an Android device. So with the high-resolution display and the awesome performance of the device, how does that affect battery life? Well, I found battery life on the HTC One to be quite adequate. I usually take this phone off the charger around 6 in the morning, and then I use it through the duration of the day, and it usually has to go back on the charger around 8 or 9 o'clock at night. Now, during the day, I've got text messages coming in. I've got 2 email accounts that receive email every 5 minutes. I watch the occasional YouTube video or 2. I play some games and browse the web. I would consider myself the average smartphone owner, or maybe a little bit more than most people. But I think that the most important thing is getting through that day. If you're able to get through the day and then be able to put the charger on the device at night for use the next day, you're pretty much set. There are definitely phones out there that last longer than this if you consider yourself maybe more heavy user. It is really hard to measure battery life because so many people use their phones differently. They do different things, and that's all going to affect battery life. Another thing is mobile data connection. If you've got a good connection with your network wherever you're at, that's going to put a lot less strain on the battery than when you have a bad connection and your phone's going to work a lot harder. So those are some things just to keep in mind, but I would say for most consumers, you'll be able to get through the day, and that's the most important thing. To wrap up this video, I want to talk about the camera on the HTC One, and the camera here is very, very interesting. It's only a 4 megapixel camera, and I think when most consumers hear that, they're going to be kind of shocked and think that this camera stinks. But that is definitely a common misconception. There's something called the megapixel wars, where basically smartphone manufacturers just continue to add more and more pixels to their phones every year. Like last year we saw the iPhone 5, that included an 8 megapixel camera. This year with the GS4, that's coming out with a 13 megapixel camera. And consumers tend to believe the more megapixels the better, and that's simply not true. And they just seem to think that just like with other specs, like the more cores that a processor has, the faster it is, or the more RAM you have, the more applications you can have open. But with the camera, it's just not the same story. Camera quality depends on a whole bunch of different factors, and basically without getting into too much detail, what HTC is able to do here by having a 4 megapixel camera is allow the camera to take in much more light than other smartphones out there, so you're going to have much better low light performance. So I will probably be doing a video where I compare photos and videos between this, the GS4, and the iPhone 5 separately, so I won't go into too much there, but the photo quality here is definitely very, very good and right up there with other high-end smartphones. So I wanted to talk about some of the camera features here. The first one is these photo filters. So you can choose filters right off the bat before you take the shot. There's a whole bunch of them. You can select it and apply the filter here. So it's pretty cool stuff. The next thing then is just the general photo options. So you can choose between the front and the main camera. You've got the different scenes, night, HDR, sweep panorama. For the video capture mode, you can choose to do slow motion video, which is pretty cool, fast HD at 60 frames per second, video HDR. You can crop it, do a self timer. You got video quality, so 920, or you could do 1080 or 720p video. You got the review duration, ISO, white balance. So if you're really looking to get the best shot possible, you can go into these features and adjust them to your needs. You can change the flash to be auto on or off. So once you've taken a photo, there's a whole bunch of video editing features, photo editing features. So we can go into edit, and you can choose these different effects here. So there's like auto enhance, a whole bunch of different stuff. So you can see all that in there. So that's cool. You can also put a frame on the photo. So here's a white frame like that. So moving on, then, one of the flagship features here of the HTC One is called HTC Zoe. So you can activate that by tapping the camera icon there at the top, and you'll see it now says Zoe there at the bottom, so you know the mode's activated. Now basically what Zoe does is it allows you to not have to decide between taking a photo or a video. So let's say you're at a sporting event and you're trying to take a good action shot of somebody. You can use this feature to try and help get you that great action shot. So basically what it does is it takes a 3-second video, and during that 3-second video it'll take 20 still shots. So once you've taken the HTC Zoe, you can go ahead and view it in your camera roll, and then you can swipe through the video and see those 20 different still images and choose the one that you feel is the best action shot that you were trying to get or whatever. And then what you can also do with that HTC Zoe is kind of create a sequence photo, so you can merge the different action shots together to create one kind of cool photo where you see the different frames of that person moving in action. So that's pretty cool. And when I do the camera comparison, I think I will upload an example of an HTC Zoe and some of the other stuff that's on here. That's pretty cool. So I think overall the camera here is very, very nice. The video quality also is great. But ultimately, I'll leave that up to you guys when I upload that video and photo comparison. But I think the feature set here is really, really great, and I think consumers are going to appreciate that and the ability to pretty much have full control over the camera here on this phone. And HTC has definitely dispelled the megapixel myth. 4-megapixel camera can definitely be right up there with a 13-megapixel camera. So with that being said, this is one of the best smartphones I have ever tested. This is definitely the best Android phone I have ever used, and I have no problem recommending it to all my viewers out there. I think the only downfall or flaw that some people might see with the phone is the fact that it has no removable battery or SD card slot. Now, I think that most consumers don't carry around a spare battery. I know some people do, but I think the general public doesn't do that. But I think that bothers me maybe a little bit about this device is that it doesn't have an expansion SD card slot, and I think that that's something that people do like to have. If they ever find that they're running out of space or room on their phone, they can resort to that. And it also makes transferring files between your phone, your computer, and other devices out there very, very easily. So unfortunately, that's something that's missing. So I would give this device a 9 out of 10. There's no big flaws about this phone. And I think most consumers, if they had this, would be very, very happy with it. And I definitely look forward to comparing this then with the Galaxy S4 here very soon. So thanks for taking the time to watch this video. Let me know what you guys think about the HTC One in the comments down below, and I'll catch you guys later.